we return to yet another quarantine stream. Perhaps this time we will have a single live viewer. Alrighty, what's up, YouTube? Let's get let's get crack-a-lackin'. So what's going on here? Okay, so at the end of my last stream, I had to restart my computer because of the simulator was basically failing to start. And what was I trying to do then? I was trying to complete tasks. Okay, so that's the first time I tested that ever. And it is clearly very broken. Let's take a look-see. Let's go down to the actual debug console and undefined location. I'm looking at that. It's not very helpful. So I'm curious if restarting will, well, let's take a look at PSQL. So if well, we don't have any tasks. That's obvious? No, not obvious. Okay, so that to me means I didn't realize that was going to clear my console. So one issue is that you can't update a task if it doesn't exist. So real task, the tasks in the list are fake. Real task, real kids. I talked about this earlier. The difference between, I think this is what I talked about earlier. So it's trying to cast where is it doing this? Going up into the code. Really? So it's telling me that the built value model result is not map dynamic, but I don't know how it has already managed to be. Okay, let's take a look-see. So maybe this builder is, okay, so this is the builder. This is the strongly typed builder. Will it give me documentation? Yeah, it gives me documentation. So why impossible, right? Maybe data is That's the wrong error. So, okay, let's see if it, so it did create the actual to-do. Hey, what's up, Britannia? Yeah, my one true follower. So basically, I just tried to post this task to the database, and it was successful, but the response had some kind of casting issue in the typed mutation. I'm not sure why. It looks like, well, let's just debug on it and try it again. So I have no idea. Okay, so I've already cached data once it gets to this point. Am I double tapping? Results. This type stuff is just, right now they're just helpers within the app itself. So, this project uses the actual models, the actual type models are built GraphQL models, which this is a sub module / example for. And these specific typed mutation and typed query components are just within this sample app. So I haven't so eventually it'll be there'll be built GraphQL, the generator for built GraphQL, and then the Flutter bindings for built GraphQL. And these actually are currently fairly, other than this extends built to JSON clause, these are fairly standalone. But you can reach into the, let's come over here. Just having some dispute about why we should never lock issue threads if we can help it. That was how I wasted my morning. Let's see. So I'm going to this repo. So the typing bindings are here. So this specific one is this. So, and clearly there's some bug in this code. At least it seems like there's some bug. So that's what we're looking at now. But Yeah, if you have any like JSON serializable, or if you're using, oh, is it? Okay. If you're using GraphQL to Dart models, which generate JSON serializable models, then you can also use essentially these exact same typed mutation and typed query. But you have to just change the built to JSON. So back to this context. Oh, of course. So the reason this threw an error, I'm fairly sure, is because the optimistic result is typed so what we want to do is take this optimistic result and make it to JSON. Let's refresh the app real quick in case there's any kind of lingering issues. I think one possible, okie doke, that's not good. Okay, so we don't have we're not using any kind of scroll view, so I think that would alleviate this issue. What is this, just a column with list view? What if it's a list view? I bet it's gonna explode. Nope, works just fine. Oh, the console's upset about something. I don't know what, if it comes up again later. It was like a parent data, like Flexbox thing. Okay, let's see what happens when I save this. It complains about the incorrect use of parent widget, and the underlying query we're not doing any updating on yet. So, okay, so it's rethrowing this error that I cleared, so now we don't have the stack trace. But I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm just going to go and check if we've got our tasks. We've got all the tasks we want, all the tasks we could possibly need. So now we can, the only reason it gave me this new task is, okay, so these should not be in this order. They should be, it should be task 3 at the top, right? So let's try, so I thought that because the IDs are a specific kind of UID, like the IDs are UID v1, and if you parse I think I have a helper for this elsewhere. It's like a utility. Yeah, so you can can do this. Can do this function, which shows you the timestamp of that the UID was created at, because it has it's generated partially from a timestamp. So so if we order by ID descending, okay, so yeah, okay, it's not wrong, right? Yeah, it's not wrong. I was wrong all along. So we're going to order by ID ascending, which is a enum that PostGraphQL generates for us, and refresh. And it didn't work because we need to regenerate the code. But that's not a particularly important detail. We know that's going to work, basically. So what happens if I try to complete something? It throws an error. Yep. We're getting nulls, because I'm calling toJSON on optimistic result. So we'll null coalesce that. Null coalesce. And we're getting lots of errors. Lots of errors on all fronts. No pub spec. What? Oh, because I'm not even in the app. No. Okay, so I'm just dipping into Postgres to double check that at least one of our tasks successfully completed. So I'm wondering if we refresh the app, if we'll see, yeah, okay, so it's checked. It looks like I'm probably, that should also get us a better stack trace for the errors. Yeah, there we go. But let's get some ordering going on in the background, hopefully. Can I get more space here? Does it even matter? It does matter. Not in a good way. But if I can... do that, I would much rather. This is like some next level yak shaving. Okay, whatever. Let's take a look at this error. Oh, this didn't work. So what is the complaint here? Expanded. So we'll wrap expanded with a column. Will that work? Or is that going to break like nobody's business? Okay, that stuff doesn't matter that much. We want, well, that form obviously isn't what we're going to use at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter that much. So now it's starting to throw a bunch of errors because it's in the middle of code generation. So get tasks is fine. Complete task form is what we want to take a look at right now, because we want to see the optimistic result. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. The question is now, so what I just did was complete the complete real task 2. So real task 2 should be checked. We don't have any we should be able to like leverage the optimistic task or the optimistic data. I'm not saying that right. Sorry. The fact that it's optimistic doesn't have anything to do with it. We're using a normalized cache. The get tasks is ID aware. We're using a normalized cache. Get tasks is ID aware. It has a lifecycle component. So when complete tasks is returned, the result, which has an ID component, should automatically leverage the auto-generated type name and fill in the lifecycle. So what could be going wrong here? Well, one guess is that I'm not generating the type name like I expect, or like I intended to. Maybe that was just a to-do that I forgot about. So let's go into built GraphQL. This is, oh no, let's go into, just take a look at it ourselves. So first, AST. Yeah, so I'm not actually generating underscore type name. Let's quickly verify that if there's an underscore type name, it's going to work. So the default, well, it's not exactly default, but we're using the default, well, the provided API for the cache in main. So we've got an optimistic cache with a data ID from object of type name data ID from object, which is just underscore type name plus ID, right? So now we've added type name to our underlying queries, and I think you probably are starting to see that the speed of the type generator is going to be an issue. So I think there's a watch mode for build runner, and it would probably make our lives a lot easier. Okay, that was actually very fast. I'm impressed. I'm impressed until I go in and see that Nope. Okay, we've got our name node. So if I refresh and complete, that's everything we ever wanted. Okay, not really, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got full stack automatic entity-wise updates. Is that it? Okay. That's good to know. Let's go make a new panel for that. I didn't realize how awkward it looks that there's margin to the right, that there's just overflow. Okay, before making this new panel, I'm going to do this. Nope. Now there's just a buffer. Let's give this more space. That's perfect. Okay. Right. Yeah. Nice. Love any excuse to get more terminal space. Although I do have to tab through that gray area, but maybe I'll use it as like a margin to myself or something. So build, and it's a build, watch. I edited something and it just built. Cool. That's badass. Still slow, but so I'm committing this real quick. So full stack CY's task completion. And that'll include the changes we had to make to the typed widgets. So let's see. So that's actually if we get once we have simple optimistic updates for the get tasks query, I think I'm going to call the very first line item on the roadmap, which is basic ad hoc tasks creation completion. That's by some definition that will be complete. So one thing that we don't really have in GraphQL Flutter, I'm not going to like go implement it right this second, but in Fairy, in GQL Darts Fairy, they did something cool what is that username? Some Kahala. They've got this feature. They implemented this feature from Apollo. That's pretty neat. Called type policies. Policy, right? I think it's called type policy. No, type. It's like a type specific resolver on the cache that handles yeah, okay, cache handlers. So do they have an example? Anyways, it's pretty neat. I want to get something like it for I want to implement something like it for GraphQL Flutter. But we don't have anything like that. Basically, I'd like it to be the case that when you make a mutation, the mutation doesn't have to care about any of these other, like any of the queries that correspond to the underlying data they're mutating. Those should just be handled by some kind of like definition from the query itself. Like how the query is going to source optimistic updates or just updates in general from the cache. So pointless tangent aside, the current idiom for this is the update callback cache. Results. So result should have a given that we're not So I was originally, why can't I open the right thing? Okay. Because I can't see it. I'm not returning any data from create task. To do actually get data maybe, because we already have all the data on the client. So really all we need to do here is I'm just going to ignore the result task, like find what is the process for this. I'm going to go reference some code in a different project. How do I do this? Task. Nope, not there. I surely do it somewhere. I'm currently hacking through a much larger project to pull. Okay, I think I found something. So I'm about to paste a bunch of old code into this into this project just to see. I'm basically going to delete all of this. I just want to know how I ended up getting this. I think that's what there's a helper. No. Yeah, so there's a helper at the bottom of the typed query factory, or the typed query widget, that is used to, this is it, but it should be in list tab. No, where should it be? It should be co-located with the definition of our get tasks. So the variables are and I commented out this because I wasn't sure it would be needed. And now my it's freaking out because I pasted in a bunch of code from a different project. So, so why doesn't it like this? It wants, yeah, not happening. So this will let us get the, okay, this belongs here. Yeah, okay. I'm going to circularly import things for time's sake. I don't know if, I don't see any reason why Dart would not allow that. So now we can await the cache key. I was really in the middle of slicing and dicing this project last time I was there. Okay. It'll all take form in a second. Okay. You know what would be interesting? Yeah, well, just thinking about making it a method. Get all tasks results. JSON. think it should be a dynamic. So now we're going to leverage built values builder functions to take the tasks, nodes, add single node, which is just a task. The model names are kind of ugly right now, but I can feel my computer slowing down under the weight of, I feel like there's either one of the plugins I'm using for OBS or OBS itself has like a memory leak maybe, I don't know. But it slowly degrades the performance of my computer over time, I think. That's something I'm really going to want to figure out. So if we go to this model, it's a task, right? I auto-generated the some of the details as documentation. For some reason, there's a new line here. That's dumb, but I guess I thought that would be stripped out automatically. But what we can do is basically just I hate writing this kind of code, but at least Vim macros make it faster. So the way that built value works is I'm just going to put this down here. It gives you immutable models that you then rebuild in these like rebuild functions using a designated like mutable builder type. So you can like mutate it with whatever logic that you want, and then once the closure is resolved, it gives you back, it validates the immutable resulting type from your updates on the builder, and then gives you back an immutable value. So, which has perhaps clear benefits once we get to making it a strongly typed cache. So well, no. So this should, oh, and then we're gonna want to, so the, first of all, the, this is a clear problem because our form doesn't fill in either of these. So let's stop being lazy I will stop being lazy and I will add task. Is that right? Eventually we'll get auto completion set up again for, yeah, that's right, for GraphQL. You can point the GraphQL plugin to, for the sake of argument, let's just get only these two and type name. You can get auto completion from the VS Code GraphQL plugin, is what I was saying. I don't know why this I keep getting a terminal clipboard complaint. I bet it's because of all the Control A I'm doing, for it's like a hotkey. So how is result data dynamic? Oh, data dot Oh, the typed mutation isn't aware of built GraphQL in this capacity. So what we're going to want to do, let's go improve it. Oh, I didn't improve it for a reason. Because, no, this is fine. This is fine. We can do it. We can do it. This is going to be good. This is going to be excellent. So do you return it's funny, the cache, the update function on mutation uses the same idiom as built value. It's a builder, cache builder, and then it takes the patch of updates and applies it. I wonder if that, no, probably implementing that with built value is not correct. Okay, so cache result typed update cache result extends g built value to JSON query result. Oh. Is this doable? Yes. We just need to make our own query results. Unfortunately, I don't think that we can properly inherit from this. Oh no, data is dynamic. I bet we can override that. Let's take a look-see, huh? This will be cool. This actually makes, oh. this kind of makes our API inconsistent. Because instead of doing this elsewhere, I unwrap the query result into just like individual arguments to a function. So by using this instead, it's fairly I'm making it an inconsistent API, but this is probably the better way of doing things. So let's see if this works out. Nope. Okay, here's what I'll do. We'll just extend it with a typed data that does that is this dot typed data. Why is it complaining? Type data. So that's not the best, but not the best API. I'm going to be mean to any hypothetical users of this API. Okay, I'm not actually going to do this, but what, is this not right? Okay. I'm not actually going to do that. Why is it complaining? Valid. Okay. So this part is almost done, right? We just need to wrap the update in a closure. And I should really make those type arguments more coherent, or more consistent. I mean, they're plenty coherent. Cache results. So what I just did was I like that API. Query result, I'm going to extend with data from JSON. So we're essentially using a fairly new feature in Dart that allows you to add methods to base classes directly within the given context. So I am adding a method to query results that will try I'm just going to do it. I don't know if it makes sense to try catch here. The error might be better, but there are other like equally good APIs that as far as I can think of, but we're just going to be doing this one as a quick and dirty we're just translating to the typed structure. This whole thing, there's other ways of doing, but this was the first one I thought of. So what is the issue? Cool. Complete. Now we go back to our top level thing that we're working on. Result.data should be still query result. How? This isn't allowed. Has it not finished updating? Is it freaking out? I bet it's because it's freaking out or something. Ah. So that's one thing. This is the problem with using closures in Dart, at least it's the editor tooling. It's not pretty. So I bet this is, look at mutation factory. Ah, it's a type of mutation factory. Yep. Just pretty sad that I'm using result payload, result, and data all in the same file. Let's just get rid of result payload. Okay. Result is now properly typed. Result.data. Result.typed data dot okay, task. Okay. Final task partial. Oh. Returned fields. Let's just go with that. Returned fields dot ID. Okay. Same error over and over again. I think so this suggests to me that maybe we can get some better errors in the editor. I can't remember if this is false or true, making it more or less. Pedantic. True. I also don't think that's going to update immediately. True. We'll come back to that because I think I'd have to update it. That's annoying. Like I think I'd have to like restart the editor. I don't want to. Neat. Okay. in order to actually figure out what this is saying, I need to like do this. So it's something, oh, so it's about the query results. So why doesn't it like that? Why is it complaining in task display? Is it because complete task is... Oh, so because I have some kind of default set? No. No, it's in create task form as well. So there must be just some basic thing I'm missing here. Those are the same. Those are the same. Manual diffing. Those are the same. Those are the same. I'm just double checking that, because I could see it having to do with the future. Okay, yeah, it really is just that. This shouldn't take so long to resolve. Oh, it is complete task mutation. I'm restarting the simulator in case there's some kind of hot update issue, because I don't see what's going on. And if I don't see what's going on, maybe it's not going on at all. I don't know what it could be. So let's while that is restarting, I'm going to make some, I guess this would be built GraphQL Flutter. Is that a good name? How do I wonder if there's a way of having a monolithic package in oh, it looks like it might not care. So it might have been right. No way. Really? That's almost more irritating. New task. We got errors. We got bugs. Is it because that's the optimistic? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have allowed it to continue forward without double checking first. Interesting that new task is where it is. I have no idea why that's the case. What? How did that happen? Maybe these UIDs aren't so... Okay, so it wasn't about optimistic. Maybe the UIDs aren't ordered the way I thought they were. So, really? Okay. I don't even know why I did that. What I'm noticing is that I had just a pointless optimistic result. Doesn't do anything, and all it does is cause these errors. No update. It succeeded. Looks like it succeeded. So it's in the database. It failed to round trip and mutate our query. Why? Because I didn't rewrite it back to the cache. Pop quiz, I knew that. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Checking it didn't work. But it did come back and checking things isn't working. I wonder if that's because I added that update. But that's an accomplishment. We're finally getting to something worthwhile, huh? So checking works. The updates do not. The updates to the cache are not working. My guess is that it has to do with that pointless update I added, which was probably unnecessary. Yeah, that did not solve the problem. There was actually no problem. So let's just override the life cycles to test completion again. Nope. Ah. So unfortunately we can't just so this is a bug because it should only do an update if there's an update to be had, right? So instead of checking inside the closure, I'm gonna check outside the closure. Update not equal null, otherwise it's null. Simple enough. Check. Nice. Nice. That is slick. Brand new task. Brand new task is added to the bottom of the real task list. And we can check it and it doesn't work. Now, does that not work because the task completion only works once? That's my guess, given that WoW didn't work either and WoW was pre-existing. But I'm wrong. Let's commit these changes real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't think that we need these sample tasks right now. So I'm gonna just comment them out. Cool. And I'm also going to, I don't know if this will make it out into the future, but never mind. I was going to allow for unchecking, but I don't want to bother with that yet. Okay, sorry, I was looking at something else. So I can check while, which is at the bottom of the list. I can check exclamation marks, which is at the bottom of the list. But if I add a new task, new, and save it. Now that I've added this new task, what will happen if I attempt to check real task? It gets broken. Same with new task. But these also get persisted to the database, right? So we have a clear so new is completed in the database. So why is that? Is it an ordering thing? That doesn't make sense. Why would that be the case? This is where it would be really nice to have cache inspection tools, but we do not. Can I save another task? That's another question. So I can save more tasks. Remarkably interesting that saving the other tasks doesn't very interesting that saving another task doesn't re-update So let's take a look at all of our current queries for a better sense of. So get tasks has type name, create task has type name. They all have type name. They all get back all of the necessary information for doing in-cache updates. I feel like maybe there's some. This actually honestly feels like it could possibly be a bug in GraphQL Flutter. But let's try everything we can to rule that out. So there are two places where we could be having a bug. Here and in, I wonder if that breakpoint will throw, and in the complete. Something's wrong. These don't have type names. Okay. Why did I do that? Why did I think that was a good idea? I stripped type names from my models. These don't have type names. It's because we want type names everywhere. So I strip the type names from the documents as they're ingested by built GraphQL because I intend to add them back later, but I haven't implemented adding them back later. So it's time to go implement some. It's time to dig into some actual built GraphQL code. So we're going to have to go into, what's the best way to do this? A static getter. I could add underscore underscore type name to each to.json. That's what I did in GraphQL to Flutter, or GraphQL to Dart. It's a bit quick. That's what I'll do. So we're going to go into the selection set printer. Oh. We don't need to go there. It's a common utility. So so one problem here is that I'm going to add a to-do here. To-do adding type name into JSON. there a cascade? There's not a cascade operator with JSON yet, but what we actually want to do is edit query to JSON in the runtime. Yeah, that's kind of pretty. Or like this, because I don't have to generate a bunch of this block of code for each, because I'm depending on my runtime. Why is it complaining? Oh, because I'm a fool. This is where the closure goes. Or this is where the variable name goes. So this means this is a bit of, it's a bit awkward. I don't want to, so I know that in selection sets, I define schema type name. I don't know if I do that everywhere else. So I'm going to, basically this module is just a very large string builder. So I'm going to make this optional because I don't want to bother figuring it out for everything else right now. And I'm going to put the conditional outside of the closure because that way it's only evaluated at once, like maybe even at build time, but not quite, probably not quite as at build time. There we go. I'm not so sure this to-do actually matters anyhow, but bit ugly. I'm not sure what that will result in. I think that results in what I want it to, but if okay, I could make, I was thinking about making it a raw value instead of like turning it into a string, but who cares? Probably more performant this way. Okay, so is that all we need? Quits down here. Control A is the hotkey to move the scene, which sucks. I mean, I made the hotkey. Sucks of me. It's about time for me to, it's approaching lunchtime for me. So once I fix this, I'll probably go for lunch. Ha. Not quite, huh? Very close though. We're very close. We're just a single string away. Yeah, so that should do it. Stop it. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm going to make this a bit prettier for myself. I don't know, it's ugly. But the point is to point is to pull it out. That's all I care about. There we go. This is exciting. So my stomach's starting to growl. We're getting fairly close to well, we're not getting close, but the exciting thing about built GraphQL is that it is, in my opinion, well, I didn't want to use the generated models from GraphQL to Dart in any kind of like generic project, because that would require a Dart user to deal with NPM, and honestly it was super buggy. Like the reason why I ended up re-implementing it in built GraphQL was because like I was just encountering all kinds of errors in my projects where like I didn't even know what the problem was, and it was like mine, right? I wrote GraphQL to Dart, so like it's like, and I didn't know how to fix the errors, even knowing all of the source code. So I decided to rewrite it with built GraphQL, or I decided to like kind of reapproach things from the ground up with built GraphQL. And because built GraphQL, like I've figured out a lot of like how to solve a lot of problems that like kind of canonical like type modeling problems of GraphQL in a nominal system. Like it's just very hard to strongly type like such a flexible system. But I figured out how to do parameterized fields. So once we get that like implemented, we can have a cache on the client side that's strongly typed cache of partial object types. That's all that, and a normalized cache of strongly typed objects, or of partials, right? So, oh, that's a good point. Ooh, I had not considered this. So, sorry, I'm gonna go jot down a note in an issue. So the types must be partials. Like I already knew this, partials. Reference relationships need to be replaced with references. And possibly with associated type aware getters e.g., what is this, like reference task ID. Task get my related referenced task. Dereference task ID. So something like that. I hadn't considered that. So this means we definitely need to generate models. We want a strongly typed cache. So did I already refresh this? Does this work? Moment of truth. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Why don't you have what I want you to have? It's the incongruency, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. What I did was not enough. Because the because toJSON is just an entry point to the built GraphQL serializer, we can't just modify toJSON. We have to figure out how to add a virtual field to the built value serializer, period. Okay, let's dig around in the code a little bit here. So let's go into some generated code. Can we add a getter? Can we add an actual getter? Probably. This will be much more elegant because it'll give us, oh, yeah. Here. Whoa. Serialize a static field. Surely somebody else has tried to do this. I'm just going to see what happens if I do the annotation I'm thinking of. But first, I'm going to commit about to discard to JSON type name approach. Okay, because it's just simply not very useful, right? We need to have a broader generalized solution. So I'm undoing everything I just did. Love to see it. Love to see it. Glad I did it so sloppily. So what we need to do, what I think we need to do, is go in the API docs, built value field, it's the annotation, and now we're going to try. Now we're going to try and annotate our static field. If this works, I'll be very happy. Alrighty. So this is being generated very slowly because it had to rebuild the entire library first. Can't use any of the cache. I'll be really impressed if this just straight up works. I kind of don't think it's going to. Let's take a look-see at the generated serializer. For my own edification. Yeah. So So we need it doesn't work with a static value. It doesn't work for a static field. So right before I run completely out of steam, we're going to try something obvious. We're going to let the I have this whole system where I can let the dog out, but she won't stop. She always closes the door. So instead of trying to decorate, the next step is to try and generate a getter. I'm trying to generate underscore underscore getter. We'll see if that works. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. We've got a build. Let's take a look, see. Tag name is never referenced. I think it should be referenced, right? It should at least be referenced if it worked, which it probably did not. I need a link to the serializer. A reference to the serializer. Okay, I'm fading for a single session. It's interesting to me how much more difficult it is to, like, it's much more mentally tasking. I think it is. It's also conflated with, like, okay, no, there it is. It's also conflated with how exhausted I've just been from just the last couple weeks, just in general. So I'm looking for the fastest possible route to a static underscore underscore type name after serialize. I love you. I love you. What's his name again? I love you, David. I love you. You are my hero. What will this work for? Let's take a look at the Wait, is that actually part of the configuration? No, it's not part of the configuration. Dang it. Dang it. Okay. There was some question that I had that looked very similar to what I was wondering earlier. Computed field. Serialize. Derived. Derived field. I'd rather not make type name dynamic because it just simply isn't. I don't want people setting underscore underscore type name for, on a task to be foo. That seems like, well, just that. This code is hard to, I'm digging around in built value. When the serialized type is not known statically. I'm not sure the serialized type will be known statically. Oh, no, it's, okay, it will be. This might. After serialize has a specified type. I don't know what I'm doing here, what I'm wasting my time on. Because this means that we can make a custom. Okay, this is a well, I don't want to put it below that. Okay, so we're going to make a custom class GraphQL JSON plugin extend standard. And the only difference is results. Objects. Crap. Uh-oh. Specified type doesn't have a type name that makes sense. The schema type name. And then I'm not going to cast a dynamic there. I'm already doing too much of that kind of thing. Okay, I'm gonna just try this real quick. How can I do this? Serialize getter. We can't use the discriminator. I thought this was going to be so easy. Here's what we're going to do. Wait, what? Okay. Derived. So let's see what the resolution here is. Do I know that guy? So Richie, I don't know. I feel like I've seen him in like Flutter. I think he's a Flutter contributor, maybe. Wow, okay. How did this get resolved? So what I want to do, I think the best way to do this is to put __ type name and say it's so awkward. I don't like that there's not a way to just make a static getter that gives us what we want. This is awkward as hell. A better, I'm very reluctant to do this. I'm gonna leave this open. And just get good value for a static attribute. Constant values for both class fields. That's exactly what I want. No, it's not. It doesn't have what I want. Nope. Nope. All right, this is going to be more complicated than I thought, so I'm just going to leave it off here and maybe, I mean, we took a lot to the bank today. We know where we're going. We know why we're going there. Middle of troubleshooting, built value, type name, approaches. So yeah, I mean, probably be back later today, but if not, you know, whatever. So that's about it. See ya. I hit stop.